It looks like 28 years later is finally happening. After all, let's talk a little bit about it.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
I want to be a fighter, like you.
Oh, let it burn! Let it burn!
Did you miss me?
You have to shoot them in the head. They always come back.
The boat can leave now. Tell the crew.
Well, sometimes that is better.
Good luck.
Hey everybody, I'm Killjoy Jake. Today we have a very exciting update on the future of the 28 Years Later trilogy that is yet to be completed, but maybe it soon will. Before we get into all this though, please make sure to like this video and subscribe for more horror movie updates just like this one. Also, if you want to support the channel further, please make sure to check out the Patreon. The link for that will be in the description below, where you can see uncut and uncensored reaction videos. Now let's get into today's update.
There's no discharge in the war.
Despite the fact that Sony greenlit the third entry in the 28 Years Later franchise, fans have been skeptical ever since Bone Temple flopped at the box office earlier this year that we would actually see this trilogy finished. The fourth film in the 28 franchise was made for $63 million and only pulled in $58.5, not even making back its original budget. It's also important to note that 28 Years Later in 2025 was made for $60 million and only pulled in $151 million, just barely crossing the profitability line. Shortly after the release of the sequel, producer Cillian Murphy said that he was really hopeful that they would make the third film sometime soon. That definitely struck some doubt into the hearts of fans. We also heard from some insiders that they were starting to doubt if Sony was still interested in making the project. Things started to look up again as Alfie Williams, who plays Spike in the two films, posted some pictures of him training with a bow and arrow. Now we finally have an update from the director himself, Danny Boyle, who's of course taking the reins of the franchise again after Nia DaCosta took over from Bone Temple. Chatting with Joe Blow this past week, Danny Boyle explained why the third film is taking a little longer than the previous two entries, saying, "We ran out of time. It's set in an area of Britain where you can only film in certain times of the year. We ran out of time this year. We literally just ran out of time. So it'll be hopefully next year." But there's the enthusiasm there, and Alex Garland has done a wonderful script for it. So a few things are interesting about that quote. 28 Years Later, the Bone Temple released only 7 months after the release of 28 Years Later. Many have speculated that that's kind of the reason why Bone Temple didn't perform so well. Also, dropping something in January, that's just a tough time to get out to the theaters with the snow, weather, whatever, depending on where you live. With part 3 seemingly holding off to film sometime next year, I think this is actually going to be a good thing for the movie overall. This will give fans some time to breathe and really digest these two movies that are 100% full course meals. Honestly, I think the biggest factor into why Bone Temple didn't do so well is that Danny Boyle described that final scene of 28 Years Later, which easily is the most polarizing scene of this entire franchise, as the teaser for what was to come in the sequel. I was even speculating that, oh, the sequel is probably going to be like more of a comedy because of how outrageous that final scene gets.
Would you mind if we stepped in? It would be our pleasure.
Thankfully, that wasn't the case as we got into Bone Temple. Sure, there was some comedic elements to it, but it was still a very serious and fucked up story. You do not want the charity of the Jimmies, trust me.
We'll stay here tonight. All for charity.
Something else that Danny Boyle brings up in this interview is that they're trying to shoot somewhere in England where you can only film there at certain points of the year. This is likely in a national park or somewhere along the coast where like certain mating seasons, you know, you don't want filmmakers kind of fucking all that up, or some scary looking zombie dudes running through the woods, right? That's a mood killer if I've ever heard of one. I would not want to be getting it on while Samson's running in the background ripping someone's head off. I'm also thinking coastline based off of that final scene in Bone Temple where we're reintroduced to Jim and we also get to meet his daughter. They're living in this gorgeous cottage right by the coast, and you can actually spot Frank's taxi in the driveway as well as Selena's coat and machete in that final sequence. Speaking of Selena, I think they've actually laid some clues to say that she is alive, she's just not here right now. Not only do we see her coat in one of the bedroom shots there, little Sam uses her machete to go fight the infected at the end there, but the biggest sign is that we actually get to see these little paintings on the wall. They're specifically of handprints from all the different characters that live in this cottage. The handprints are made to look like flowers in this shot, where we can see one big hand here, a small hand there, and then in this shot, we get to see another big hand. I see that as a visual clue to say that, yes, Selena will be in part 3 if we're able to make it. Getting back to the coastline conversation, though, I do think that's going to be important for where the story ultimately goes here in Chapter 3. The last two movies explored some really interesting topics that kind of feel like they're building off of some of the themes from the original film. The first 28 Years Later explores how the rest of the world views England since it's just full of infected people now. They're kind of just leaving it be and going about their day, pretending like it's not happening. A lot of that conversation comes from Eric's character, who washes up on shore and ends up joining the group for a little while. That doesn't last long, though.
Quarantine is for any poor fucker who puts one toe on this island. You hit land, you never leave.
Then in Bone Temple, Dr. Ian Kelson finds a cure to the rage virus by pumping Samson full of drugs. Through Spike and Kelly, I'm guessing that's how Jim, Selena, and Sam are going to learn of a cure and hopefully try to spread it to the rest of the world. Knowing now that there's some way to fix this, maybe some other countries come in to help. I am wondering, however, with Alex Garland being back in charge of writing all of this, he really wanted that original 28 Days Later to have a dark ending. Jim was supposed to die, but that didn't really work too well with test audiences. 2 alternate endings are included in the DVD extras of the film, one being where Selena and Hannah try to save Jim from the gunshot wound that he got, but he ultimately dies. Selena and Hannah end up at that same cottage, writing the big hello sign for the airplane to see. The other one's actually a little more interesting though, where Jim dies again, but before this happens, he actually has a dream of the bike accident that left him in the coma at the beginning of the film. It's revealed here that Jim stopped in the middle of traffic essentially to let the car hit him, seemingly at a very low point in life. Both of these endings are incredibly nihilistic, however, and I think I much preferred the one we got in the feature film. I also could see this really interesting like turn of fate thing happen where Jim maybe sacrifices himself in order to save all of the younger crowd here. Jim was rescued by more experienced survivors in the original film. Maybe now he's going to help rescue this younger crowd so they can continue on. Sometimes a tragic ending though is way more powerful, and honestly it's kind of what I'm expecting based off of how this trilogy has gone so far. I really think it's going to be a bittersweet ending overall, like Spike and all of them kind of carry on after some sacrifices are made to keep everybody alive. I really think the movie is going to end with Spike and a lot of the other younger cast, Kelly, Sam here, all surviving and being able to hold that onto that information in order to save their country. It's just a matter of getting the attention of everybody else, and how they're going to do that, that's left ambiguous. I'm so excited to hear from Danny Boyle that this is still on. I cannot wait to see part 3 when it finally arrives, but I don't think it's dropping anytime soon. If they're not filming until next year, we'll likely have to wait until a 2028 release date, which ouch, feels like a long ways away. The wait is definitely going to feel long considering that it's been about 5 months since Bone Temple came out, and we're probably gonna have to wait like 2 more years until this one drops in theaters, but I'm sure it's gonna be worth it for another kick-ass movie in this very excellent and consistent franchise. These are my thoughts and theories on 28 Years Later Part 3. What do you guys think about it? Let me know your thoughts, especially on what you think the subtitle is going to be. No one could have predicted Bone Temple for Part 4, so what the hell is the next one gonna be called? Leave me all your thoughts and theories down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.